Hello you.
Brownie biscuit.
I've been playing Earth Defense 2025 after I saw it on the backwards compatible list and excitedly found out that it's about killing giant insects. I can finally play Eight-Legged Freaks, the game, without any of the bad acting. I thought to myself, this has to be good, there's no conceivable way the world hates itself so much that it would screw this up. After all, Earth Defense is a franchise, so it must be good for it to continue over numerous installments. It gets better, the game has split screen, further pumping blood into my stiffy for this buggo, but on reflection I didn't really think that buying point through, as I now need to leave the house and pick out a new decent looking meat sack to play this with, which is always like trying to guess what part of the handle has the least amount of piss on it when leaving the pub toilet. Then I have to draw up plans of how I get them into my freezing dungeon. This would have to be done in between colour coordinating crispy M&Ms into factions readying for war and sneaking rubbish into my neighbours' bins. As you could imagine, the whole thing is going to be a massive pain in the arse. Oh, it has online? Well, thank fuck for that. I was starting to run out of storage space for all the defective sacks I've been picking up lately. There must be a knack to picking the right one, much like how the Mother Shoebill stalk identifies the weaker chick to abandon. 3 days after discovering, ordering and forgetting about the game, it arrived. I wanted a physical copy of this gem because after all, it's not like I'm going to have any other company in my bed anytime soon. This game is quite an expensive waste of limited time in this existence, as a hard copy typically goes for around the 20 quid mark. The download is no cheaper as the Xbox store price it at 20 on the nose. So it makes sense to buy a physical copy, as you can get most of your money back by flogging it on eBay, as this game holds its value. I'm going to mention the interface as it's very easy to navigate with no bloody nonsense. It's quick to get all set up and you're arsed straight into the game. I appreciate a game that respects my time. The menu navigation and selection noises remind me of something I played many years ago. Though I can't remember what it is, it still tickles my nostalgia.
Choose loadout. Rangers can equip 2 weapons.
When you start the game, you have a choice between 4 classes, each having their own unique weapon unlocks and customizable loadouts, including colour, which comes free with the game. Wow, fucking sit there and imagine that. Onto the classes, these are the ones that you can choose from.
Choose a class. Ranger is recommended. The other classes are specialized. Unlike the Ranger, you'll need time to get used to their controls. Wing Diver. Flying Assault Trooper. Member of a female-only Special Forces unit, equipped with flight wings. She is armed with experimental Ravager tech-based weaponry. Air Raider. Aerial Spotter. Supports the Air Force units from the ground by spotting for airstrikes, missiles, and artillery. Also capable of calling in infantry vehicle support. Fencer. Heavy Armored Trooper. With the power frame, the Fencer is able to carry and use giant weapons in both hands. They can be fired simultaneously.
Thanks bitch. So the Ranger is a bit stock standard. I quickly got a sniper rifle and a decent rocket launcher which suited my adventurous playstyle just fine, and pretty much stuck with that loadout throughout. They can also enter vehicles but cannot request one. Not sure why this is helpful because the game doesn't actually have any lying around in the levels as far as I know. And I'm pretty confident in saying that if you're playing with a random air raider online, they won't spawn one specifically for you. I will now give you some good factual advice on how to make friends online and in the real world, relevant to you if you're playing as a ranger and you see a air raider spawn in a vehicle. Steal their shit. It's Social Science 101, a running observation from behind the curtains proved this to me. Every week I note in my black book quote unquote gardeners going round the old deer's house next door, but they never attend to any of the front bushes. Maybe the back garden is where the real work is done. Either way, why does it take 3 of them and a van to do little to no gardening? All I know is that these gardeners have a friend for life, and she is paying 3 people to do one man's job. She's only 90 for Christ's sake, how much of an appetite can she have? Failing that, be a bag for life. People hoard those things longer than gold. Now that you have loads of friends, gather them round and listen to me talk about the Air Raider class. They look like a discounted Isaac from Dead Space. Though not the real McCoy, I like them nonetheless. They have the ability to spawn in vehicles and call in artillery strikes. Remember, the toys aren't for the dirty begging rangers, those peasants can fucking walk. Now, I've only used a tank and I have to say it's great fun blowing the hell out of giant bugs. What other game can you do this in? But you have to get used to shooting without an aiming reticle, and it has limited ammo. Fuck, this is an expensive limited use bit of kit. I know we're a throwaway nation, but this takes the piss. No machine gun is included. I assume this must be an extra from the manufacturer. Tight military budget this year. This 40 or so ton tank is useless as a battering ram. It does nothing against the sometimes immovable, sometimes light as a fart insects. For some reason you have to press the back button to get into the tank. The first launcher weapon fires sticky bombs that are detonated by zooming in. This raises the point that the standard controls are a bit strange. The left trigger is to jump. However, changing the input controls is as simple as it gets. No numerous pre-set locked configurations. You have a list of inputs, apart from entering and exiting a vehicle for some reason, on the configurations menu, where you simply press the button next to the action that you want it to do. The next class is the Wing Diver. They're pretty fun, flying about, shooting from above, gaining higher ground advantage points, but overall I found it less effective than being a ranger on the ground. You have energy, which is used up by your jetpack and weapons, which has a reasonably quick cooldown period. However, not only do you have to be mindful of the energy constraint, you have less health because fairies are naturally weaker to bug jizz. On the hard difficulty, I was caught out quite a few times with no power, because I'd be in the middle of no man's land, scared, defenceless, with a swarm of huge ants narrowing down on me from all directions, hoping to get a taste of my sweetmeat, waiting for my proton laser to charge up. The Fencer class is the one I like the least, because you're in a tech suit and it weighs a ton, slowing movement equivalent to a desperate diabetic crawling to the cookie jar. Annoyingly, the class sounds like a lot of fun because the fencers can access dual-wielded heavy weapons, but I will probably never know as I got bored shortly after starting levels with them. I mean, the butler from Tomb Raider 2 would give this guy a run for his money. This is a problem for the fencer, as this game's focus is on keeping you in the action at all times. Furthermore, they don't have any long-range weapons. The starting minigun takes ages in its rotation before it starts firing, and the recoil makes it hard to aim. It seems as if the best tactic is to get right up close and hope that you kill everything before you have to reload, as that takes about 2 days, leaving you fully exposed without the option of running away. After you've chosen your class, you then have to choose your difficulty level. I would suggest for the first time playthrough, if you're playing with someone, to go on hard. If you're a loser without friends or the internet, put it on normal. If you suck like me, then you will get pretty far in the campaign on hard by yourself, but hit a brick wall when you get to level 17. This is where I figured out that I needed someone else to complete the level with. Why? Because this level seems designed to be played co-op. So you have to destroy 2 ships. After this you have to destroy a further 2, which fly low through a valley. To destroy the ship you have to hit a weak point inside the ship when the hatch doors open. To get a shot at this weak spot, you have to pretty much be directly underneath the ship. This means that jumping spiders are being dropped on your head. Meanwhile, the other ship is also dropping spiders on the other side of the map, so it's pretty much impossible to keep the spiders back and attack the ship when the opportunity is there. But if you have 2 players, then both can keep the swarms back till the doors open, then one can attack the ship while the other kills the manageable number of spiders. Me failing at the game aside, there is a harder and Inferno difficulty setting, both of which I'd imagine do not give a shit about your feelings. Variety of difficulty makes this game accessible for me when I'm too drunk to understand Peggle, and to hardcore players who like their balls smashed into a smoothie. Now that you got all of that shit sorted, you'll be thrown onto a large level with the objective to kill all the giant bugs. It's as simple as that. There is nothing else to do bar collecting crate drops, which have health, armour and weapon unlocks in. Later on there are other enemies to explode till the frame rate drops to about 10 FPS, but telling you what they are would be a dick move. The game is quite arcadey in that you get infinite ammo on most weapons, excluding the really cool ones. Though the limited ammo weapons do great damage, overall they are pointless taking with you, as you have hundreds of insects to kill. After your ammo is gone, you are 1 weapon down, without the ability to get another. So if you chose a weapon which is useful to particular scenarios, like a sniper rifle, you have kinda screwed yourself. Switching weapons is pretty much instant. You can reload while rolling around like a prick, and the reload bar keeps its progress when you switch out weapons. How one can have a single shot rocket launcher 3/4 of the way loaded is a level of detail you should take back with you to Arma. This is a plus for the game because there's literally no annoying niggles put in the way of the player getting to the fun. It's refreshing to play a game that is designed with the player's enjoyment at its core focus. Unless you chose to be a fencer, then my friend, you will be miles back, always hearing the fun just out of reach, while you slog your way through chest-high anaconda-sized mammothid worms. This is an idyllic world where full damage does not exist, tower blocks can fall on your head without giving you so much as a graze because they are made out of dusty polystyrene. Tanks clip through cars, bugs in cars can fly at 100 miles an hour across the map when you shoot them, and because the game is in third person, you will get the typical obscured camera at times if something is behind your character. I'm sure an early mission is bugged, ironic I know, because the spider Retardius can shoot attachable webs through numerous buildings from very far away. These webs constantly damage you and limit your movement, which means when one has hit you from 2 streets away, you'll have to run as fast as you can, ignoring everything else to find and kill the spider before it drains you to death. Later on, these retards seem to lose this amazing power for the most part. As you can imagine, this bullshit makes doing that level initially much harder and annoying than it was intended to be. You are also given in this game the well-known more efficient travel option of rolling, as it is faster than walking. I'm sure none of these overlooked minor details are due to cutting corners, incompetence, or just being sheer lazy. The environments are surprisingly destructible, surprising to me at least because I made an unfair assumption of the game's technical cup size based on the face value of its graphics. In the game's defense for looking dated, that is just a consequence for being able to have many enemies on screen at one time on multiple large maps. If you are a fan of repetitive gameplay from titles such as Dynasty Warriors, whom enjoys the satisfaction one gets from being a one-man killing machine against hordes of hundreds of enemies, I'd say this game has the same appeal and delivers the same level of satisfaction you get from that gameplay loop. You will also be happy to know that there are many levels and the incentive to have multiple playthroughs, as achievements are tied to completing the game with all 4 classes, so you're going to get your money's worth. I'm sure you've already gathered by now that you're not here for the story, but it has a good enough one to give structure to the endless shooting. Though I mentioned I was happy I could play a personal fantasy of mine, Eight-Legged Freaks, the game, at the beginning of the video without the poor acting, there must be a written rule somewhere which states if you have huge bugs, cheesy, badly acted dialogue must be included. Because the commander, scientist and soldiers pick up that burning shit stick and run with it. I guess if you like over the top cheesy crap, then you'll be happy that there's enough B quality material here to start rubbing on yourself. Down to the business end, is this game worth the 20 odd gold beans? Yes, but this comes with a caveat. I would say that it is worth the money if you intend to play this split screen or with a friend online. Because the fact is, everything is more enjoyable with friends, even cutting out cysts. If you are intending to play solo, be aware that some levels seem to be designed with co-op in mind. Before buying this, you should take an estimated guess on how long the game loop will entertain you, because there's nothing further than killing a limited variety of things with a limited variety of weapons, spread out over loads of levels. I personally got bored after 6 hours of playing solo and jumped to co-op, so if you don't have online or no one to play split screen with, I'd suggest giving this more consideration before putting money down to avoid buyer remorse. However, as I mentioned earlier in the video, if you don't like the game or get bored with it, you can get most of your money back by reselling it. You may even get a few quid back if you manage to get it on an initial good deal. Ow! I just stepped on a fucking pin. What the fuck is that doing there? As I was saying, overall, I'm happy with it, though I'm not sure how long my interest in the game will last, which is the main thing to take from this video, not me stepping on a pin. The value of this game is based on how many hours or how much entertainment you personally think you can get out of it. Bear in mind, for less money you could pick up one of the Just Cause or Mercenaries games, which have more depth, variety and polish, with a similar gameplay loop just without giant bugs to shoot. I do wish that they would make a more recent installment to the franchise, as I would like to see how the game would develop. Oh, fuck's sake Xbox.